This happened yesterday, and I'm still confused. Yesterday was my first day back to work after being off for 2 weeks. This is kind of important. One of my coworkers had gotten engaged the week before I left. When she announced it at work, we all did the congratulations and happy for her type of things. I thought it was over. So when I left for vacation, the last I knew, no plans had yet been made. Then yesterday, when I went back to work, my boss Kim and best friend Laura said that coworker Claire was looking for me. I asked what was up, and they weren't sure, but she was carrying a little gift bag. A few minutes later, Claire found me and asked how my vacation was. I was telling them about it, and she cut me off and said she had a very important question to ask. She handed a little gift bag and asked if I would be her best man of honor for her wedding. I thanked her and told her that typically this would traditionally go to a close female relationship. She responded that there was nothing traditional about her wedding, so it was good. I looked over at Laura and Kim, who were both trying to keep from laughing. I again thanked her, congratulated her, and told her that I wasn't interested in being part of her wedding party and that I would be happier being a guest in the audience. I swear when I said this, it was when we watched her entire demeanor change and a switch flipped. She went off, saying that I have to be in her wedding and that she doesn't understand why I would say no. I told her that we only knew each other for a short time and that I had no interest in trying to plan parties, dinners, and shopping trips. She told me I needed to think about it and she would get back to me later. I told her to go for it, but my answer will be the same. She walked away, and I looked at Kim and Laura and asked what the ever-loving, fresh, creepy hell was that. Kim started to laugh and said she didn't know, but saying no, like I did, might have saved me a lot of headaches in the future. Laura made the comment that she went straight to Bridezilla, and this was a look into what she was going to be like. Claire came back today. However, she went with a different approach and handed me a list of what she wants me to do and her vision of how she sees things. I asked her why she gave me this, and she said that as her man of honor, these were my responsibilities. I told her again that I was not going to do any of this. She started again that she needs me to do this and how much fun it was going to be. Then she asked, "Haven't you ever wanted to be part of something special?" I told her I was. I was a nurse. Enter Kim, who could sense that I needed help and told Claire one of her patients needed her help. I told Kim that if this keeps up, I might need her help. She said she was already watching it and would intervene if I needed it. What did I miss? We aren't that close. She just transferred down to my unit from a different unit 6 months ago. I had no idea who she was until that point. Laura is saying that she is close in age to me, and she might feel that to be enough of a connection. Did I miss something? When we are asked, are we supposed to automatically gush and jump up and down in excitement? Why is saying no a bad thing? Now, for a few important comments. One commenter said, "It seems Kim is useless here. You really need to go over Kim's head and nip this in the bud right now because Claire isn't taking no for an answer." To which OP replied, "Kim will help. I know she will. She is just waiting to see what her next step is. I have had to have her help with a work issue before. If I have problems with her the next time we work together, then I'll let Kim loose." When asked if this could be some weird way to flirt, OP responded, "It won't work with me. I like weenie, LOL, and I have a boyfriend, LOL." Another commenter asked if this was an HR issue, saying, "I'm not an expert, but isn't this like harassment?" OP answered, "It becomes an issue if I report it. My boss is seeing all of it so far and has said that she is watching the situation and will intervene if it keeps going. I'm off tomorrow, so I won't see her for a couple of days." A commenter speculated, "She wants to show off how different and edgy she is by having a man of honor. She may also admire your organizing skills and get it done demeanor, and thinks you'll throw her great wedding-related parties." OP replied, "I'm a bad gay guy friend. I'm organized when it comes to a lot of things, but planning a wedding is something I have never done and really don't want to learn to do. If I were to ever get married, it's midnight under a full moon at the beach with a few friends and a cookout the next day, LOL. Another commenter suggested, "Okay, this is going to sound weird, But since she's advertising that it's a non-traditional wedding, is it possible she's after you for a specific reason? Are you gay or part of a racial minority? It's possible she wants her wedding to look super diverse for Instagram reasons, and maybe she's after you for a specific vibe in the pictures. Regardless of the reason, not the idiot. OP responded, I don't know her background. Yes, I am gay, and the entire department knows it because I was dating a former nurse and we broke up. Now I'm dating someone from a different department, and it's all known. All she said was it was a less than traditional wedding and it would be okay. Yesterday, K&L asked if I was afraid of something about it. Maybe if I had to wear a dress. I said I would freaking rock the dress. I might need a push-up to fill out the front of a dress if it's strapless. LOL. But I just don't want anything to do with it. I have no interest. My life is crazy enough right now. Planning a wedding would go from crazy to insane. Now for the next day update. Hey everyone. First, I apologize. I never thought this was going to go as crazy as it did. I want all of you to know I read all of your responses and responded to as many as I was able to. Thank you all for your amazing insights and comments. Many made me laugh, which I needed. I have been sick, and that really helped to cheer me up. I had to meet with my lawyer today regarding family issues. My neighbor, best friend, coworker Laura took me. I really felt awful, and driving wasn't a good idea. We were talking about this on the way, and we both were asking a lot of the same questions that all of you were asking. The big one was that we were asking about the circumstances of her transfer. She went from Med-Surg 4W to the ER. That is a huge change. I have to work tomorrow, so we will see what happens. But Laura and I are going to ask Kim about the transfer and raise a couple of other concerns. After I got home from the meeting with my lawyer, I slept for the rest of the day. I really don't know anything about Claire. Our relationship is 100% purely work-related. That was why I was so surprised that she asked me to be the man of honor. I have a very small friend base and like to keep it that way. I really have no interest in being a part of this. I'm not a wedding person. After reading so many Bridezilla stories and hearing about over-the-top weddings, they have become a huge turnoff to me. Spending tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars with unrealistic demands that turn people against each other. Why? I would rather use that money and spend that time planning my next trip or vacation. Many people said that I was being used as a token or prop in a wedding, or a gay best friend. I admit that I'm out and proud, but I'm not going to just pretend to be someone's friend, just so they can fulfill some kind of fetish they have for wanting to have a gay best friend, or some kind of status she feels the need to fulfill. It takes me a lot to get offended, but if this were actually the case, then I would really be rather offended. I was not put on the face of the earth to be someone's play toy. A lot of people have said that maybe she doesn't have a boyfriend. She does. She has brought him in before. If she has any insecurity, I don't understand it. She is attractive, smart, and knows her stuff. So I'm at a loss as to why she is acting like this. A lot of people say go to HR. I'm starting that process with my boss, Kim. She is completely aware of the situation, being with us when all this happened. She has told me that she is watching the situation and will jump in if I need her to. I trust her completely. While Kim and HR can control the situation from the hospital, they can't control the situation from a personal level if she were to maybe follow me home or a situation like that. So I think that covers it all. I wish I could say this is over, but most likely there is more to come. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, about that name, you're not just an RN, because there's nothing just about RNs or other nurses. You folks, regardless of gender, do the medical heavy lifting, and when we can't get a straight answer from the oh-so-busy MDs, the nurses provide the no-shit information. I responded, my name is kind of an ongoing running inside joke. I'm told at least once a day or so from a patient that I'm just a nurse. One day I heard it 3 times. I don't really take offense to this. And in a joking way, I repeated what the patient said, and my boss Kim jumped my case about it. That's not the case at all. I love my job. It's a huge part of me and who I am. It's a part of my identity. Another commenter asked, I'm curious about her list of demands or responsibilities. Like, Did she really think you would change your mind now that you had all this BS work to do and money to spend? I responded, it pretty much had me planning the whole thing. She wanted me to plan the bridal shower, the bachelorette party, coordinate dress shopping and fittings, make sure everyone was having fun with the whole thing, just to name a few. One commenter said, OP, what the ever-loving, fresh, creepy hell is this? LMAO. I responded, I had no idea. What the ever-loving, fresh, creepy hell was from something. It's just something I have always said. Mini update in comments. I'll be posting an update in a day or two. Things came to a head today, and it was pretty much just as everyone was saying. I need to take some time to understand everything that happened today. I also have a meeting scheduled Monday with the director of nursing at my hospital, which should bring closure, I hope. Now for the 3-day update. This intro is going to be long, but I'm telling you about this for a reason, and later in this update, it will make sense. I'm hoping this will be done and that this will be the last of this whole situation. I was born into a family where I was referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with. I lived in the shadows of my sister, who was the child my parents wanted. They wanted one child, which was a girl. That way, Dad had his daddy's girl and Mom had her little princess. Then I came along. Keep in mind that I'm 23, so back then my parents had options but chose not to use any of those options. So instead, my parents raised my sister, and I was raised by a nanny who, even to this day, is one of the biggest influences in my life, and I am so grateful for her. She helped me with so much. I finally realized that all these years later, by being referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with, they stripped me of my humanity, individuality, and self-worth as a person. I think that's why I have worked so hard to establish myself in my career and in my life, as a way to become a person again and not just be that issue that needed to be dealt with. This past Thursday, things came to a head with the bridezilla known as Claire, and the truth came out. My best friend Laura has been sticking close to me when we worked together if Claire was to start something. We weren't sure if she was going to leave it alone or start up again. I was really hoping that it was done, but she had to try once again. I've been sick and I had a busy morning, so I really just wanted a few minutes to go to the bathroom, grab a quick snack, and maybe breathe. Claire came up and had her list and asked if I had a few minutes to talk about the wedding planning. I looked at her and told her again no, that I was not interested in being part of her wedding and that I was not going to help in any way, and she needed to drop the subject and leave me alone. Again, she went into the whole thing of how I was going to do this and how much fun it was going to be. Here we go with that line. All of you loved the first time. Why in the ever-loving, fresh, creepy hell is it so important for me to be your man of honor? I'm not interested, and I'm not doing it. It is exactly as pretty much all of you told me it would be. She was just planning on using me as a token or a play toy. She took all of the messed up gay stereotypes that are out in society and put them into one sentence. What modern liberal woman isn't going to have a gay bestie on her arm for special events? I felt everything in my stomach move and a wave of nausea come over me, and I felt like I couldn't get to the bathroom fast enough. This pissed Laura off to no end. Laura is really kind of like the overprotective sister that I wish I would have had, and took Claire off to visit our boss Kim and laid it all out. Everything that was said. While I wasn't in on that conversation, Laura and Kim filled me in on what was said. Kim came to check on me, and I was still hiding in the bathroom. She knocked on the door and asked if she could come in. I asked her for a bottle of water first. While I was waiting, I realized two things. I realized why I chose not to hang out with her and why I didn't like her. I couldn't figure out why I didn't like her, just that there was something that gave me the heebie-jeebies. But I realized that I didn't like her because she is a different version of my sister. While Claire is educated and employed, she doesn't care about other people and their feelings. She is like my sister in the sense that if she wants something bad enough, she will figure out how to get it. The second thing I realized was that she did exactly what my parents did to me. She completely dehumanized me and reduced me to an entity. Just kind of turned me into a token or a thing for her. I think the word that best describes it is I'm just a play toy. What really gets me is that just like my sister, Claire doesn't think she did anything wrong, and I'm being too sensitive and a delicate snowflake. The next day, an emergency meeting was held at work, and Claire is being suspended pending investigation, and a new transfer is being looked into. Kim made the request for her to be terminated. The director of emergency nursing said this was a last resort, but she was going to be looking into options which could be sending her to a new hospital or facility. This didn't go over well with me. I asked what would happen if she did the exact same thing to someone different. She didn't really give me an answer, but she said she still needs to look into a few things, and at this point, she is suspended. Anyway, here it is. I'm still pretty sick and had to work this weekend. If I can, I'll respond. I want to thank everyone for all the amazing support. I am going back to my lawyer to see if he can figure out how to send her a cease and desist letter to make sure she doesn't contact me. I'm heading to bed. Have a good night. I keep forgetting to thank my boyfriend. He has been with me on this, but more in the background. First when we were laughing about it, but when everything Thursday happened, he was there as well. Elle was able to get him away from his unit for a little bit for the "it will be okay" boyfriend hug. He stayed the night with me a couple of nights as well, also helping with me being sick. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have such a great support. Now for a few comments. A commenter asked what if she targets a vulnerable gay patient next, saying she's a danger and a liability for the employers to be sued. Then I responded, "Thank you for this response. I just texted Kim and asked her about this. She said she was trying to get her fired, and she is hoping this will help the purpose." Am I the idiot for feeling uneasy about my girlfriend's spider babies and her tarantula obsession? I am unsure how to feel about my girlfriend's bizarre hobby. Need advice. My girlfriend and I have been dating for just over a year. This sounds so cliche, but she is almost perfect for me. She is really into health and fitness, has an excellent career that she worked really hard for, is great in bed, kind and intelligent. But she lives in a basement suite, which is nicely decorated, and she keeps very clean. Any of you that have lived in a basement suite before know that no matter what you do, you get bugs, ants, pill bugs, beetles, and spiders. I spend a fair amount of time at her place and noticed right away that there was a spider in almost every corner. I asked her about it, and she told me she doesn't unalive them because they eat the other bugs. Okay, I did some light research, and sure enough, she was right. I found it a little creepy, but not a deal breaker. Here is where things get weird. About a week and a half ago, I was using her computer and noticed a spreadsheet called Babies. Curiosity got the best of me, and I opened it. She lovingly named all of the spiders, unalives the other bugs, and feeds them to the spiders, and keeps track of it all in a creepy spreadsheet. She keeps track of their food, their color, size, web size, and some other stuff that I didn't really understand. I closed the spreadsheet after I realized what it was about because I felt bad for snooping and was honestly pretty disturbed. I really love her and don't want to break up, but I'm afraid that this is a sign of mental illness. Has anyone ever heard of anything like this before? Should I say something to her? Is it okay for me to ask her to stop? Is this really that big of a deal? Now for a few relevant comments. A commenter said, "I think the big takeaway from all this is that you should never, unalive a spider around her." Then I replied, "No shoot, hey lol." Another commenter asked, "You're 31 and you're unsure how a little interest of your girlfriend for over a year makes you feel? She's just logging spider data. Heaven forbid she ever does anything truly bizarre. You might go into shock." I responded, "You don't think it's weird at all?" Then another commenter said, "So long as she isn't bulking them up to have a spider fight club, I think you are okay. Yes, it is weird, but I think collecting stamps is weird. I suggest asking her about it. Apologize for snooping and ask her, but don't accuse her why she enjoys her hobby since it is freaking you out so much." Now for the top comments. One person said, "Honestly, I think this is an adorably bizarre hobby. Let her have her quirks. This is pretty goddamn harmless in the grand scheme of things. Or freak out over this, confront her and break up in 6 weeks. Your call, dude." Another commenter added, I had a huntsman in my house for about 6 months. I named him Jeffrey. I was absolutely terrified of spiders since I was little, so having Jeffrey around was great. I learned that he didn't want to bother me at all. I watched him hunt. It was super interesting. Learning about your fears is an awesome way to confront them. Perhaps this is what your girlfriend is doing. Either way, it's a pretty awesome way to learn about them. I replied, maybe I can convince her to cage them. This is so fricked. Another person responded, oh, my sweet summer child, if this is blowing your mind, then I'm worried for you. Now for the update. 3 weeks later, I took all of your advice and tried to embrace this part of her life. It was our anniversary last week, and I decided to get her a spider-themed gift. I was at the mall, and one thing led to another, and I ended up buying her a pet tarantula and an aquarium for it. She loved it, but I noticed the beloved spiders disappearing from around her apartment over the last few days. I asked her about it, and turns out she's been ending the life of them and feeding them to her new tarantula. I don't know how I feel about this. First, she is calling them babies, and now she is ending the life of them. Arg, I'm just trying not to think about it and hoping she doesn't find a better boyfriend to feed me to one day. Lol, oh well. Now for a few relevant comments. A commenter said, that was a thoughtful gift, good job. Big spiders eat little spiders. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She has a real pet spider now, one that you gave her. It sounds like you solved the problem of having wild spiders walking around the apartment, and you made your girlfriend happy. Everybody wins. I replied, thanks. Another commenter added, lol, you gifted her the spider, so it is something that is way more important to her than the so-called babies. Take this as a sign of her love for you. I responded, I hope so. Thanks. She named it Fluffy, and unfortunately takes it out of its cage quite often. She will hold it while we are watching movies on the couch, lol. I pretend not to be afraid of it. Am I the idiot for telling the mother of my child she's not a burden and that I want her to stay? I met Mila about 4 years ago at a bar. It was a mutual friend's birthday, and we were both fresh out of long-term relationships. After a lot of drinking, we awkwardly woke up together on the birthday guy's couch. We didn't want anything serious, but we exchanged numbers and went our separate ways. About 3 months later, Mila texted me to grab coffee. When I arrived, she was visibly upset and started crying. She revealed she was pregnant, and I was the only person she had been with. After a DNA test confirmed it was mine, she moved in with me. The guest room became hers, and my office is now our son Andy's room. Having a kid wasn't in my plans, but Andy has made my life better. Mila and I have not had a romantic relationship, except for a kiss after Andy was born. We get along well, I support her, and I'm paying for her grad school. We split chores, and I'm always there for whatever she needs. Andy's 3rd birthday is coming up, and during a conversation, Mila asked if I wanted her to move out so we could co-parent separately. I was taken aback and just said no before retreating to my room. The truth is, I love her. She's smart, beautiful, and kind, but I'm scared to tell her and risk ruining our relationship as parents and friends. Now, for a few days later, I finally talked to Mila about my feelings. I left work early, picked up Andy, and dropped him off at my mom's. I bought flowers, cleaned the house, and texted Mila to come home because we needed to talk. When she arrived, she was concerned about Andy, but I reassured her he was fine. I gave her the bouquet and started the conversation. I expressed my fears about ruining things and how it hurt when she asked if I wanted her to leave. She admitted she felt like a burden and blamed herself for ruining my life with the pregnancy. I quickly shut that down, telling her my life has been better since she and Andy came into it. Mila confessed she liked me too and had felt that way since her pregnancy. She was embarrassed to say anything because she didn't feel comfortable in her body post-pregnancy. But to me, she's the most beautiful woman on the planet. She also admitted to feeling jealous when I went on dates, and I confessed I would feel the same if she dated. We talked for a long time, covering deeper personal topics. We ended the night with dinner at a small restaurant and later watched a horror movie. Mila fell asleep cuddling me, making it a day full of wins.